Hello. This is Andrea Peck, and I am a writer with GI Jobs Magazine, and we are doing an interview today to talk about the Warriors to Work program's new drone training program. And I want to introduce John Swanson and Sandy Alston. You want to begin by just telling us who you are and what your role is in the program. John?
Sure. My name's John Swanson. I did about 12 years in the Army. I got out in 2016. Went to Campbell University to get my bachelor's degree. I was successful in that. Had a job, and in August of 2020, I came out of work, and pretty soon after that, maybe a month after that, maybe 2 months after that, I signed up for the Warriors to Work program. And it was probably the most responsive program that I encountered. I signed up for a couple other organizations that were saying, hey, we can help you get hooked up with training or get hooked up with a job. But about February, we started a process. Sandy and Mike Burns started putting out that, hey, we have this pilot program we want to start in getting veterans hooked up and getting their federal license for commercial drones.
Well, maybe I'm going to cut in there and let Sandy tell me a little bit about why Warriors to Work decided to add a pilot drone training program to your lineup of careers.
Well, thank you, Andrea. Yes, with the Winter Warrior Project, we definitely want to live one of the core values of innovation. And with the drone pilot program, I think that's one of the key things that we want to look at job market trends. And we just really felt that this would be a great opportunity to bring in something that hopefully in the upcoming years is going to be a very demanding area for our veterans and warriors, the warriors and their family members. So again, we're constantly looking at things and opportunities and the trends in the job markets. And we really think the drone pilot program would be a great opportunity to jump on board to prepare our warriors and family members in an upcoming trend in the job market.
And I've heard the term UAV pilot, drone pilot. Are we talking about one and the same thing there with just a different name given to it?
Yeah, so it's I've actually got my license in front of me, and so yeah, it's a SUAS license, and all that means is that we are certified and legal to use drones for commercial work.
Okay.
And we understand all the rules. We're not going to get anybody hurt. So it's yeah. When we interchange those things, it's the same. It means the same type of thing.
Okay. And Sandy, how were people originally selected for this initial cohort?
Yeah, because it was a new program for us, a new pilot program. Our selection phase, we sent out an email to the majority of our warriors and family members in the general area because we was looking for the Charlotte, North Carolina area, but we was really focusing in on North Carolina and South Carolina. So we sent out an email to see what type of response we would get of how many people would be actually interested in it. And from that, we went through a good screening process to able to really find out the ones that was really looking for something in that particular job market, more so not just doing it as a hobby, someone that was more so looking for direct employment, which we was able to get down to be able to come out with the 12 warriors and one family member that actually completed the program.
And what kind of interest did you see from that initial email? How many people were you selecting among?
Well, actually, we was able to narrow it down. We got quite a few responses, but initially we actually started off with 30. That was because it was still a pilot program. out of the 30, we still want to get it down to a little bit more manageable phase as far as, because we really want to kind of help control that process and make sure that all the people that started in together, because the first 3 week phases was online and it was pretty much self-paced. So we wanted to make sure that the people that we had was really motivated to complete that process, and then also had the allotted time to be able to do it, because a lot of our warriors and family members already had previous jobs and that they was working or actually in school. So we want to make sure that the people that started was able to complete it. So we was able to narrow that 30 down to 15 to actually start the class.
And John, maybe a question for you then. That one of the things I was wondering is what kind of time commitment is needed to participate in this program? And how was it for you to fit it in amongst potentially other activities or demands on your time?
Yeah, it was interesting, and I think that's one of the great things about the program that was selected. So it was actually done through a company called Dart Drones, and it was an online self-paced training course to start off with. You know, you could work it. I worked it a bunch of different ways. I'm a father of 3, and you know they range everywhere from first grade going up to my oldest daughter is now starting driving, so that's where most of the gray hair and the beard is showing up. I would at least try to dedicate, you know, an hour or 2 a night.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, that's the interesting thing too. You know, when they went through the process and said, okay, we're going to do this for a job. I've always been one of those guys that, you know, I'll jump in and ask what the water temperature is later. So when we first started off, you know, I had an idea in my head. Okay, we'll learn how to, you know, make the things go up. We'll learn how to make them turn left. And you know, that's kind of the idea I had in my head. It was quite a bit more complicated than that. We're learning the airspace rules, what types of classifications of airspace, you know, there are. What do we have to do if we have an accident? You know, who do we report to? What kind of forms you need? So you had to dedicate, I think we had just over a month, right around 30 days to finish it. Most everybody was, you know, and Sandy could probably speak a little bit more on that, but I think everybody was on track to finish on time, if not early, and have enough time to study for the 107 exam, which is the exam you have to take the license. But you know, at the end of it, I felt confident that I was going to pass the exam without any problems. I didn't really have any worry that you know, I was on a time crunch, or you know, I wasn't going to have enough, or that I wasn't prepared enough, rather.
So you have this month to complete the online portion. And then do you take an exam immediately after that, or does the exam come at the end of the program?
So you have to schedule it a little bit ahead of time. So once you schedule it, that was kind of your hard date. Okay, I have until, I think mine was March 14th or something like that. So I knew, okay, I can reasonably expect to finish, you know, because I've finished this amount of hours, and you know, you did your time management blocks. Mm-hmm. So you know, you get online through the portal, through the FAA portal, and say, okay, I'm going to schedule my exam through these authorized proctors, and mine was in the wonderful metropolis of Fayetteville. So you know, I commuted the hour that it took to go there, take my test, and it was done. We got our results instantly. We called up our Wounded Warriors program representative just to let them know, hey, mine was Mike Burns. So I said, hey, Mike, you know, good news, passed. And, you know, everybody started hearing, okay, yeah, everybody else is doing really well too. We're on track to do. And at that time we understood we were going to do a part 2, which was the in-person training that we did in Charlotte.
Yeah.
And how long is the in-person training? How many weeks does that go on?
That was 3 days. And, it covered everything. Again, I went in thinking, okay, I had a certain idea in my head. And I was surprised by the training we got there. There was a lot of additional things that we found out, a lot more capabilities of certain types of drones, the programming, the software, just everything that you could do, that, all the little things that I guess just don't initially come to mind. It was also really nice to get exposure to the types of drones that we might not initially have an opportunity to interact with.
And tell me a little bit about that. What kind of, I think for people who know just a small amount about a drone, have probably seen one a couple of times. What did you learn? What is there? I take it they're a lot more involved, and they're used in many more ways than we might realize.
Sure. So through the program, there was a guy from a man named, and I might be mispronouncing his name, Brian Vegas, through Innovative Technology Holdings. So through him, he provided a drone. So we got I don't know if you can see it, a little dragon, right? And so it was a nice drone just to get, because I hadn't done this before. So and I'm sitting there, my daughter's learning how to drive and I'm learning how to work one of these things. So everybody was nice and anxious all together for a couple weeks here. But we had a week or two just to get familiar with it through that part 2 of the online portion before we did the in-person portion. We had an opportunity to just get familiar with, okay, this is going up, we're turning left, everything that I thought we were going to do at the beginning. So before we showed up, we had a little bit of an understanding of how to operate these things. And then
you learned that online as well, then, a part 2 of your online course?
There were portions that it covered. The part 2 also kind of covered, it went into more detail on weather conditions and a little bit more of the legality of everything. The port, some of the shortcuts. So if you want to get clearance through the FAA and you kind of need it today, they showed you the new shortcut method, the FAA drone zone that you can sign up for and hopefully get clearance, within a matter of minutes. So we had a little bit of practice with those drones that were provided to us. But the ones that we got exposure to during the in-person portion, right up there, right outside of Charlotte and Statesville, these, this might cost a couple $100. The ones that we were working cost several $1,000s, and they can do things like 3D mapping. So if you wanted to work for a construction company and say, okay, well, the area you're getting ready to level out, you need to cut in this much and fill in this much. And so now they know exactly how much material they need just based off of, one flight, 30 minutes of flying. If you wanted to work for a real estate agent, they kind of showed us, okay, these are the modes you want to do. And look, hey, you can pan it, no hands, and you're still flying. If you wanted to do thermal imaging, they showed you, that a lot of these things can go into several more weeks than just those just the exposure time that we received there. But it was nice just to get exposure to that and just to see, hey, these are different lanes and avenues that you can do within this opportunity that can maybe put some money in your pocket.
And what skill sets did you find that you took from the military? Were there transferable skills that helped you get through this program? And
I think so. In the military, at least for the Army, and I heard some of my my Marine friends there in the class. Everybody talked about the crawl, walk, run, and at first, okay, we understand we're going to start at a baseline of everybody either having, there were some individuals there that were doing drones on their own and had their own and had some very expensive models, but I would say the majority were guys like me where, we hadn't done this before. So, you start off at a very basic level. And then, you do the walk portion where you still have somebody with you, but you're going out a little bit more. And then you had the run portion where you're kind of doing a couple of things on your own and all by yourself.
And I know a lot of people now licensed across the country for commercial drone operation. It has become a very kind of hot industry.
Right.
Sandy, do you think, are there the jobs to match up with this growing number of people getting training?
Yeah, we really do. Again, when we was looking at initially starting the drone pilot program, again, we're also always working with employers, other veteran organizations, other nonprofits across the country, and we're looking at job trends. And right now, we're looking at the job markets, and I mean, there's job opportunities, especially for them initially starting off would be like in real estate. Real estate is a booming market now. If you ever go online and look at Zillow and all that, and you look at those shots that they shoot with of the homes and land and property, it's normally used by drones now, other than going inside the home. So your outside shots is used, and then oil and gas. Those are another industries. The cell phone companies. So there's a lot of opportunity, from engineering, construction, that the utilization of drones is being used. The key for us was when we was looking at the pilot program also too is, and when John was talking about the different phases, the hands-on phase was actually for 3 days, but we wanted to make sure that we took that opportunity to get them with a licensed instructor, someone totally qualified in the professional drone industry, to teach them those basic fundamentals of what it takes to actually utilize that drone in a job arena. And that's like when John was talking about how to take the drone, because there are different apps that they can use as far as utilization for mapping, how to take that drone up and set it up to be able to inspect a telephone tower or gas line. So the utilization that we want to make sure they understood was, how can this be translated into the job market more so than just going out in your backyard or in a park flying a drone just for fun. And that's one of the key things that we was looking at, because the industry is definitely growing. And even now, as far as with the Warriors to Work program, our main goal, not only to get them through the training or introduce them to another career field and get them trained in it, but then also our goal with Warriors to Work now is to now, the second part is network with employers, hopefully get them gainful employed in the industry.
And what kind of salary could someone expect to make as an entry-level commercial drone operator?
Well, again, salary is based on what you do. I mean, the salary range it depends on, the key thing for us is if you're working for a real estate and entry level, you want to go in, you're going to go in a little bit lower. But when you start looking at gas and oil, you could be looking at $120 to $200 an hour, depending on. So, but now if you're going into real estate or whatever, it could be set up by a job where you might be running between maybe $20, $25 an hour. But those are things that you are building experience.
Sure.
And then once you build that experience, then you can definitely translate that into a higher career field and get paid a lot more, between $100, $200 an hour to do those type of jobs. But then also the entrepreneur type at arena. I mean, this is a great opportunity that they can take that experience and start their own business in doing something with the drones. So there's a lot of great opportunity for employment. It just really depends on one's personal goals and how far they want to push what they have learned from us with the Drone Pilot Program.
And so once they've completed the pilot program, is the next step to look for that entry level job? And if so, John, what has been your, where's your next step now, now that you've completed the program?
So I'm certainly open to anybody that has a job available. My next step for me personally is, I found a temporary job that I hope to start Friday. But I'm sort of looking almost at that entrepreneurial avenue of starting my own employment, my own business. So I'm looking at things like, what does it take to own and start up an LLC? I've already got the types of models of drones I want to purchase, and so with that job, I'm in a position to where I'm going to pretty much get to fund or funnel all of the earnings I get through the temp work towards purchasing my own equipment. And with that, that's one of the things we kind of got our hands on there with that training there in Charlotte. That's one of the questions we got to ask. Okay, well, at what level do you become proficient enough professionally to start venturing out and start going at it on your own? And kind of the generally, normally, usually answer was it was approximately 50 hours, and that was 50 hours getting comfortable with the type of equipment that you're operating on, and then probably an additional 50 hours becoming familiar with the type of video and photography software and the applications and everything that kind of come with it. So for me, for my next step, it's going to be acquiring the type of equipment I want to own and operate, and then becoming proficient with those tasks in the area. I'm already kind of familiar or friendly with several of the real estate agents, like Sandy mentioned, and that's where I'm going to attempt to start cutting my teeth and start getting my experience with.
So that's the temporary job that you referenced beginning Friday is going to be with a real estate company?
No, this is it's a telework job, pretty much setting people up with vaccine.
Oh, okay. So a whole different thing, but will still fund the purchase of your drones. And got it. Okay, that makes sense.
That's my current hustle. Yeah.
Well, that's a good hustle for right now. So.
Yeah. Well, let me also add to that, Andrea. The key thing with the Warriors to Work program is, the key thing for us is I actually start in and helping our veterans and their family members set up realistic employment goals. And then through that process, how do we help them get to that point? And that's the key thing that we're looking at as far as the sometimes there's a path that you have to choose to go to get there. But at the same time, we want to make sure that they try to stay gainfully employed, move on to the next goal. So that's just the goal setting is just one part of what we do, along with the resume writing, the interview prep, and then also the networking with employers. So the key for us is now with that we have exposed them to this new opportunity and they have gained the training and the knowledge of it, is let's figure out what direction do you want to go. Like John mentioned, he might even be looking at the entrepreneur piece. One of our other warriors, his father is a construction engineer, and he was just looking at all the different ways that the application could be used for that. So he was looking at possible starting up something with his father. So the key thing is, how do you get to that point? And those are the things that, as with the Warriors to Work program, that's the way we kind of focus the career path for our warriors and their family members. And that's the key to the success of the whole program. And even with the entrepreneur piece, we do network with other companies like Rosie Network and Bunker Labs to help them learn through how to be a good to start up your own business and through the entrepreneurship way. So definitely opening doorways and empowering them to move forward to whatever their original end goal would be.
Yeah, so it's definitely a continuum. Once they're done this pilot program, Warriors to Work is still with them every
Right.
step of the way forward. And
And that's been incredibly comforting and reassuring. You know, I mentioned in the beginning, it's been the most responsive group that I've dealt with. You know, I can't go a day without, you know, Mike Burns. You know, I'm kind of tugging at him here, but he's always bothering me and sending me stuff in my inbox, and it's just I think more than any other organization, this one's kind of laid out a clear path and an easy path to walk on. You know, you still of course have to put in your due diligence, but it's been incredibly easy as compared to what I think it would have been otherwise.
excellent. Well, Sandy, I know the program envisions growing. What's the future hold for this pilot program? It sounds like this initial cohort has been very successful. So where do you
Well,
go next?
well, the key thing is once we go through initial phase, which John went through the first group, we always want to measure the success. And the ultimate goal for our people is completing the program and then also gaining jobs. Right now, we are definitely still looking to move forward with the pilot program, the drone pilot program. And along with that, we're looking to start up a new cohort starting on the West Coast within a few weeks here. And because again, we're nationwide and we want to make sure that all our warriors and veteran family members have opportunity to get exposed to it. And then, so we are looking at another program starting up on the West Coast, and we're going to monitor and track that to make sure that goes well. And then from there, we will continue on as long as we can see that it's a success and our warriors and family members are benefiting from it.
And have the participants for that West Coast cohort been selected, or is that something someone could still put their name in for?
They still can put their name in. I know they have just started their initial screening process. Again, for us, even though it's a two-month process for the warriors and family members, for us, it's about 3 months, because the first month is to get the information out there and then actually go through the selection phase of it. So right now we're in that first phase. We're actually getting the selection phase and kind of narrowing that group down, because again, we want to keep it to a very small target group so that the success rate, we have a better success rate, because we're not just letting them go through the online portions or whatever by themselves. We're there to keep them motivated and focused on completing the process. And that's the key thing. So once they get through it, go through that first phase of selection, then again, now we move into the actual 1 month online portion and getting the FAA 107 certification, and then let them actually get their hands-on training that really kind of open their eyes and really see the utilization of the stuff that they learned through the first month.
So if someone's intrigued and wants to put their name in, how do they go about doing that?
Well, the key thing is right now we're focused on the West Coast, because again, we're targeting a location that once they get ready to the hands-on portion, that they don't have to travel all the way across country just to get to that hands-on portion. So right now, the West Coast team has sent out mass emails on the program, and based on their response, they will do the selection phase. But if someone is really interested in it, they don't have to hesitate to reach out to the Warriors to Work program. If not, reach out to our resource center and let them know that they're interested in the Warriors to Work drone pilot program, and the resource center would definitely get them in touch with us to tell them about the program and see can we get them set up to do it.
Okay. And John, what advice do you have for people who'll be going through this next cohort?
It's probably advice that they're already well aware of. I mean, you were asking earlier, what translatable skills do you carry over from the military? And I would say just bring that with you, bring your work ethic with you, bring a sense of humor with you, bring a sense of humility with you, because you are going to crash. That's part of it. Have some fun, but treat it seriously, because it is a very serious thing. And once you complete it, become a good steward of the skills that you've learned, and just be supportive of other people or other veterans that are might not know that this is a an opportunity that's out there. I certainly, if you were to ask me 6 months ago, hey John, what do you want to become a drone pilot? I'd be, I would have been taken back a little bit. I don't know that this is an avenue that I would have explored all by myself. And so certainly grateful for the opportunity that I was able to take advantage of. So just, take everything that you learned from the military and, apply it like you do in all things in life.
And so what was it, since drone piloting wasn't something that was lingering in the back of your brain as a career opportunity? I assume you got this email and kind of a light bulb went off. What was it for you that made you think, oh, I haven't thought of this, but I might want to do it?
Once the opportunity was presented, there's been kind of watershed moments that you have in that I've had in my life, right? So one of them was we went from having a home computer to having the internet. Everybody remembers those AOL discs that we used to get in the mail. And well, then you got a little bit further ahead with computing and everything. And I just started thinking about, back in some of those other kind of watershed technology moments, with Bitcoin or whatever it was. And, it's always one of those things where I was like, man, I wish I would have gotten in there a little bit sooner. And, then the idea kind of peaked. Well, this might be one of these things. Let's do our own research and let's see, what we can really do with drones. And so I went on YouTube, I went on, a bunch of other company websites, and, I watched their videos, I watched what people were doing with it. And I thought, wow, that actually looks like, not only a good time, but it looks like it's something that could be practical, and profitable. So once the opportunity was presented, hey, do you want to participate in this program? And I did a little bit of my own research. I started getting really excited about everything.
And Sandy, are there particular reasons that wounded warriors make good drone operators? Is there anything particular to this career that sort of works well?
Well, I just think most of our warriors and family members are very motivated, and they all want to be successful, especially after their time after the military. And a lot of times they want to just give back and look at new opportunities, new challenges. And being in the military, the military is always a leading edge of innovation, technology. And the same thing that what we look at as the Wounded Warrior Project. We are always looking for innovation. We want to be the leading edge on anything up and coming and new, especially with the Warriors to Work program, with dealing with the job market. We want to make sure that we're allowing opportunities for our warriors and family members to be on that leading edge of technology. And I think the drone pilot program is one of that, and that's why we chose it. And definitely we look to serve and take care of any warrior and family members, or as many as we possibly can.
Well, in closing, is there anything else either of you would like to mention that we haven't touched on?
Well, I would just like to close out on just saying that, first of all, the drone pilot program is just one of the things, or innovative things, that we're doing with the Warriors to Work program. But just Wounded Warrior Project, we got a lot of different programs out there that is allowing great opportunity for our warriors and their families. And if someone is interested in it, definitely go online and go to woundedwarriorproject.org, or look up Wounded Warrior Project and go to our resource center. And if it's something particular that you're interested in, especially with the Warriors to Work program, ask the resource center, and they will definitely get you connected to us.
John, anything you want to mention that we haven't touched on?
I might just gloss over again on what an incredible opportunity this has been, and I really would like it to see it succeed and get exposure to more veterans. The Warriors to Work program is, an incredibly responsive organization within the Wounded Warrior Project, and anybody that's feeling like they need a little bit of a guiding hand, a push, exposure to things that you might that you may not necessarily have considered on your own. The Wounded Warriors program and our project and the Warriors to Work program is certainly something worth your time.
Very good. Well, thank you both for your time today. And if I have any other further questions, I will send you off emails. So as I write the story.
Well, we thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you very much, Andrea.
Bye-bye.